Bismillah. All right, guys. I'm live. This happened kind of I guess you can say it kind of happened uh spontaneously because I was just kind of reflecting on the AFCON. But I decided that, in addition to reflect on the AFCON, I want to just, make this kind of a like a two for one special and just go over things pertaining to the topics I usually talk about. But let's start with the AFCON. And first, everybody knows that I follow football. I'm a diehard football guy. Everybody knows that. And what I mean by football, I mean by uh you know soccer, what they call soccer here. So the thing is that the AFCON, one thing I don't like about the AFCON is when it's played. They be playing the AFCON during regular season. So it's easy for you to forget about the regular season games because of the simple fact that your focus, if you're African, your focus is so much on AFCON. Uh so for me, I did not care who won. I did actually care who won AFCON. Of course, I wanted my country of origin to win, but I was always of the view that as long as a Sahelian country wins, I'm good. Walaikum salam rahmatullah barakatuhu. And I was always of as long as a Sahelian country wins, I'm good. And then I was like, secondly, as long as a West African country wins, I'm good. But that's beside the point. This AFCON just opened my eyes to a lot of things. That's what I'm going to say. Because, you know, people who maybe like people who see the stories and things like that, they say they give like this image that does not even exist per se of Africa, like and of African relations. That's the thing. Like the crazy thing is this, that even like for example, even with I will show you something, and many people will say, oh, this girl, she's being culture vulture or something like that. She'll be like, oh, she's being like like an intruder and things like that. Because one thing that I really liked about this AFCON is it showed actually that when Africans really have a cause, or when Africans really find a common ground, we can get along no matter where you're from. Yes, there is beef. We already know of the beef with Ghanaians, Nigerians, and South Africans, but that beef that's a historical beef. You know what I mean? Like that's something that has been going on historically. Okay? That's the thing. So historically speaking, it's been going on, right? But what I will say is that, I was very happy to see that you had, for example, uh Cape Verdeans. It's a xenophobic beef. That's the thing. It's a xenophobic beef because Nigerians, there's a lot of them in South Africa, and you know, you know, that kind of creates conflict. And then in terms of the Ghanaian Nigerian beef, that happened a while back, because what happened is when Nigeria was facing economic troubles, when when Nigeria was facing economic troubles, there was this saying, Ghana must go. And all the Ghanaian migrants in Nigeria, they essentially were like kicked out. Essentially they were taken out. So that's where that beef started. Now, the one thing that was really good for me. And this goes to show you, like, yeah, unfortunately they won. Unfortunately, Ivory Coast won. Everybody knows I was going for Team Niger. Everybody knows I was going for Team Niger. But but Niger played rubbish. Abby not wetting. Niger, they be playing rubbish. Okay. So Isabi, no, they don't deserve to win. You know, that's what I will say. The way they were playing, no, they don't deserve to win. Uh they be playing Aero mental, true to God. So, salute to Ivory Coast. They play with more they play with more, I want to say, hunger, you know. So what I want to say is that when it comes to like when it comes to like the relations with the countries, th- th- I think the for example, the prejudice, the racism, right? The and things that you see. Like, for example, people will say, "Oh, oh, what you call it? Oh, oh, North Africans don't really like West Africans. Uh, you know, East Africans don't really like West Africans, vice versa. You know, it's over exaggerated. And I saw this from the tournament. Even, like, for example, you'll have even some groups saying, "Oh, Cape Verdeans don't think they're African enough. They think they're Portuguese." You'll have certain groups like outside of the spectrum saying these things, but then when you look at the tournament, it's different. You had Nigerians shooting their shot at Cape Verdean women. You had Ivorians shooting their shot at Cape Verdean women. You had Ivorians shooting their shot at Nigerian men. Um, you had North Africans such as Moroccans, Algerians supporting I want to say they were supporting uh no, yeah, that's true. Yeah, they do be doing that. The Nigerian men do be taking their women. I mean, like, I can't even cap. They do be taking their women. I'm not saying I'm not saying that that's not a thing. They do that. Don't get me wrong, they do. But the thing is that there was only one instance where there was a Algerian woman who, like, trashed Ivory Coast. She trashed the infrastructure. She trashed everything about it. But then she got deported from the country. Like, they said, "Man, bye. You can pack your bags and leave. We don't need you here. We don't need your tourist dollars here." But what I did see more than anything else is I saw different North Africans embracing West Africans. Like, unfortunately, yes, there are some online who do have this kind of, like, who do be saying Abid and things like that. They be using those kind of words. I'm not gonna lie and say that they don't use that. Yes, they do use that. I can't sit here and lie. However, the ones who were in the tournament, the ones who went to the tournament, they were um on the West Africans. I've talked to North African women who have, like, just hit me up because they see me doing my football edits, asking about where in West Africa am I from. And the reason why I say this is that, like, what I'm saying is, um if we can get around football, right? If we can gather around football, yeah, then we can gather around something else so we can really put the continent forward, not just football. You know, the football is just the icing on the cake. But what I'm saying is that the relations between each other are, like, I think it's overrated, the kind of, like, dislike that, that goes on. Now I will admit that, you know, the reason why Somalis hate West Africans is because, I mean, bro, they weren't even in the tournament. Ethiopians hate West Africans because, again, they're not in the tournament. That's the thing. So I understand where their hate comes from. And I understand that their hate also comes from this perceived notion that they have better features than us. Okay. I do understand that. But I'm going to show you a video that this TikTok influencer sent to me to let you know that North African women, like, for one, and I'm not doing this like as a means of like a fetish or anything like that. But what I'm saying is that North African women don't see, like, for example, marrying or integrating with West Africans as like a foreign or alien thing. They see it as like, okay, these are our cousins from the South. That's the way they see it. Now, I'm gonna post this, and may Allah forgive me, but her, she's cute and everything like that, but she's rocking the Ivory Coast jersey. Mind you, this is a Moroccan woman. She should be rocking the Moroccan jersey, but instead she's rocking the Ivory Coast jersey. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it. Let me turn on the camera. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Here it is right here. I'm going to play this video. All right. And you can just see her little petite, cute self liking the dancing, okay, of us. She rocking with us, meaning that, bro, don't let, like, for example, what I'm getting at is don't let these Western women fault you for going where you're respected and going where the women are like really digging you, okay, and digging your style. Like, I hate to say it, but like these, like, for example, these Western niches don't know nothing about no damn Afro beats or no cultural dances. But if the moment, like, for example, this woman respects your culture so much that she's willing to learn the culture. But let me play this video. Look at her. Look at her. Look at her. Instead of doing Moroccan dancing, she's doing that dancing. Come on now. Come on. Imagine. Imagine. Imagine, okay? She, instead of doing North African dancing, what is she doing? She's doing African dancing. So what I'm saying is don't let these people fault you for like women who are into your culture, women who are into your get down. Okay, that's what I learned about the tournament. Is that it's not only just like West African women that are into West African men, it's other types of women from Africa that rock with you. Okay? They rock with you. That's one of the things I learned from the tournament. Another thing I learned from the tournament is, as crazy as it sounds, you should never count yourself out. I mean, Ivory Coast, for example, you know, wow. All I got to say about them is wow. Because here's the thing, Ivory Coast, they how they got to the final was even crazy. They were supposed to be eliminated. Okay, they had to wait to see if they qualified. Okay, to go to the next round because of the simple fact of how poorly they played in the group stage. Okay, they actually did something incredible, and they actually came back from the brink of elimination to win the tournament. Had they counted themselves out, they wouldn't have even won. Another thing that I learned from the tournament is play your position, but sometimes even go above and beyond your position. And yes, I have a bias to the striker of Victor Osimhen, who I will actually, when I go to my screen recordings, I will actually play some of the things he said that made a lot of modern women mad. It made a lot of modern women pissed off that he actually said these things. It made the westernized African woman mad. Of course, it made the Keisha mad, and it's like, bro, like I'm gonna be honest, truthfully, no, you know, ain't no African really checking for no African American. Like, I'm just gonna be honest. Ain't no African man really checking for no African American woman. The only reason why they're checking for him is a green card and a visa. And that goes for Karen too. The only reason why like you'll see an African man checking for Karen is for the same exact reason. But but yeah. But anyhow, what I want to say is um bro, I'm telling you, that tournament showed me a lot of things. You even had, like, for example, like the Cape Verdean women, they were in full force. And, you know, people will say, oh, yeah. And you know what's funny about this? This is the funny thing about it. Other women that you're not checking for will try to fault you for you actually checking for them, for checking for the for example, there was this one Somali woman. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I don't check for no damn Somali women. I don't check for them. Like I listen, the only person I would consider marrying from East Africa is a Zanzibari woman, a another Tanzanian woman, or a Sudani woman or Eritrean woman, but I'm not checking for no Ethiopian or Somali woman at all. Okay, true to God. True to God, I'm not checking for them at all. And I'll say that proudly. Do you think I want to go through being called all types of crazy names and slurs by their parents? No. Hell no. So I'm not checking for them. Okay? But they'll still be mad at you when you're not checking for them. They'll still be mad at you for checking for the people who are checking for you. And I'm going to be honest, them Cape Verdean women, it wasn't uncommon to see them with the Senegalese brother. It wasn't uncommon to see them with the Nigerian brother, the Ivorian brother, the Guinea Bissawan brother, the Malian brother. You saw all of that there in the tournament. Okay. So, with that being said, right, this just goes to show you what type of time the tournament was on. Like people talk about, for example, Pan Africanism and stuff like that. They talk about that, but honestly, this tournament was like an example of Pan Africanism example. You know, um, um, hold on. So what I'm gonna say? Hold on. I'm just someone's trolling me real quick. Hold on. So what I'm saying is that, like, you even have like certain groups like who are trying to like be so pro black, so um like being so pro black to the point where they don't even want you to like intermingle with other black people, you know. Um so with that being said, you know, with that being said, it's like, for example, for some of these pro black people, and this is the confusing thing. This is what confuses me the most about it. For like for example, the Somali woman who was like getting mad when these Cape Verdean women were with uh these West African men. It's like they're like they said, oh, they have a light skin fetish, or oh, they have a fetish and stuff like that. And it's like, why the hell do you care anyway when you guys have featureism fetishes and things like that? When you guys literally came up with a word based on the hair texture of another group of people, okay? When you guys literally will turn literally, if that guy is not from your same tribe, you're not even dealing with him. So I was just like confused. Why the hell do you care when you know your parents damn well will not even have a Senegalese, have a Nigerian, have a Malian or Ivorian step foot in your house for marriage? So I was just like, why the hell do you even care? Where we like are exercising our option. Like, yeah, you're tripping, bro. You're really tripping, you know? So like I don't know why what she was on about when you guys literally have words for us, West Africans. You literally have words for us. Um, but the tournament, I'm happy. It was good. I was not happy with the result, of course. I wanted Nigeria to win because I'm a Osimhen fan, but I'm not only a Osimhen fan. There's a lot of players on the team I like of Nigeria. There's a lot of different people I like. Now, some I believe were faking injuries to so they can go get paid at their club, but yes, there are a few players that I really like, but I like Osimhen, and it goes back to my point. Osimhen is a striker, okay? He's a forward. His job is to score goals, right? But the thing is about him is that he was doing more than scoring goals. He was actually providing assists. He was actually holding up the ball. He was actually showing how strong he really is. And the crazy thing about it is he may be thin, right? He may be thin, right? But he's extremely strong. So strong that they actually had to bring him in for drug testing. Okay? Yeah, that's the thing. Hold on. And that's what I like about him too, is that he has a fight, a never say die attitude. Okay. And that's one thing that I really appreciate about him is that he kept on fighting. He kept on fighting. And that, despite the fact that he was getting fouled a grip, despite the fact they disallowed so many goals from him, kept on calling offside, 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 he still did his thing. He still like honestly, he made me proud. He made me very proud that he's the way he is. You know what I mean? Like I'm very happy, I'm very proud. Although he didn't lift the trophy, I'm hoping inshallah he'll inshallah I'm hoping that he'll lift the trophy the next time around. But I'm very happy with AFCON. I'm very happy with I'm very happy how the tournament played out. I would say this is one of the best the one of the best AFCONs. But I want to move on to some other topics. Um, you'll be surprised that these footballers, yeah, hopefully he will leave Napoli, but I hope just the next place he goes to is gonna like skyrocket his career. I hope it like just does his career good. I hope it doesn't result into what happened with Koulibaly when Koulibaly left Napoli and then he went to Chelsea, and then that ship just went down bad, so I just hope like that's what happened with Osimhen, the opposite, I hope the opposite happened with him, that the ship doesn't go down bad. That's what I hope. Inshallah, you know. Yeah, 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 he shouldn't go to Chelsea. Definitely not go to Chelsea. He should go to a team, definitely not go to Man U either. He needs to go to a team where it's just kind of like it's gonna the platform will be the platform would be good enough for him to pick up where he left off. That's where he should go, you know. That's where he should go. He should go to where like the platform is gonna be good enough for him to thrive. How he's thriving in Napoli, it should be the same way, you know. Um you even saw, for example, the North Africans, for example, were more were more embracing of the West Africanness of the tournament, you know. I guarantee you if you saw like a Somali there, I guarantee you if you saw an Ethiopian there, I guarantee you if you saw them, they would not be dancing with us. You had Moroccans wearing Ivorian jerseys, you had Moroccans wearing Senegalese jerseys, you had Moroccans wearing Malian jerseys, you had Algerians wearing Nigerian jerseys, and you have vice versa. So these kind of like things that people what I'm trying to say is that the same things that are on social media don't really exist on the continent like that. You know, they really don't. Um, and so yes, that's what I want to say. Um, and even with the bad reps that Nigerians get, right? You have none of that. Like really, you had none of that at the at the tournament. And you can see even by the players, their demeanors is not like the you can tell, like even with the demeanors of the players, that they're not like the, a lot of people want to like put stereotypes on them, but like a lot of times these stereotypes don't really fit. A lot of times these stereotypes are kind of like exaggerated because of a few bad actors. However, like when it comes to different actors, like the stereotypes are kind of true. And what I mean by those actors, I mean the modern woman, you know. Now, um, let's get into some things. Uh, you know, uh, we can talk, we talked enough about AFCON and things like that. I'm very happy. But yeah, some of the officiating was bad, though. I will say that. I don't think all of those Osimhen goals were offside. I really don't think so. I think that there was something going on. Like, bro, how can all those goals, um, uh, yeah, how can all of those, like, for example, like, how can all of those goals that he made be offside? You know, that's crazy. I don't know, bro, because like I was looking at all the goals that they call offside, and um, it was kind of weird to me that they call. Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. And one thing I want to say too about the tournament, and I don't care what people say, but football is political. Like for example, you had our brothers from the Congo, and I knew what was going on in the Congo. I knew these brothers were suffering. I knew what time it is in the Congo. and it's due to a certain group of people that if I name them, they'll probably like flag this account. So just understand that the Star of David applies to them. But even you can use football as a protest, and that's what the Congolese players did. They came in fourth place, by the way. Um, um, and so what happened was, they were shedding light on like what was going on in the Congo. Like they were telling people that, hey, this is actually going on in the Congo. We're having this kind of problem. You know what I mean? And by them showing that this was actually going on in the Congo, they actually, shed light on a very bad situation that, of course, is selective outrage. The West in general has selective outrage. When it comes to, for example, when it comes to a conflict that holds like a great deal of interest, right? Like when it comes to a conflict that has like that they are very concerned with, then light will be shed on it. But when it comes to a conflict that maybe, is not of political importance to them, like maybe the victims don't really bring anything to value to them, they'll be like, oh, well, well, I don't even give a crap. That's how it works with them. Like that's usually the case. It's unfortunate, but this is just how it goes most of the time. Um, but the thing is that you can what the tournament did too for me is although there were a few bad actors not in at the tournament per se, but mostly on the social media channels, like the clowns most of the time, the foolish people. Um, you know, like like the thing is that for the most part, it was good. It was good to see the unity. It was good to see that like these things were happening. That there is actually more there is actually more unity than disunity than I have said, or that people would lead you to believe. That's the thing. Um, and so with that being said, it another thing too about the tournament is that um hold on, just a minute. I'm looking at some clips. That wanted me, and Wolfsburg was among them. And then I didn't speak with my brother. I didn't tell my family. Hold on just a minute. I'm just looking at a couple of things right now. Yeah. Um, every other Ojota. Hold on just a minute. I'm just looking at some things that came up on my feed, basically. I started in Olusosun, just normal street football, just like every other Ojota Olusosun street boys. I think for me, it's just something that I love doing the most. Something that I love. So one thing I want to, another thing I want to talk about the football and things like that. Another thing I want to say about the football that I find, this is one thing I want to say about the football. You know, the thing is, right? Um, these men, a lot of the African players, they come from sensitive backgrounds. They come from like backgrounds where it's not really like promise, They come
Competition. I
they
had this.
they they come from those backgrounds, but yet they still manage to like work their way up,
My
you know?
agent came and
They they manage to work their way up to like the big time, right? Um and so this is very much appreciated because like the thing is, and this is the sad thing about the modern woman, they don't understand that these dudes, for example, like they want like a guy like this, right? They want a guy like this. Like they want a guy who's on this level. Yet, like what are they gonna give that guy? Okay? What are they gonna give him that he doesn't already have already? That he earned with his own 2 feet, you know? So that's what I want to get into. I want to show you guys like the stories behind, like, because they like, this is what blows my mind. This is what blows my mind, bro. It blows my mind. These women don't give a rat's ass about what these men put in to get where they are. They're just like, oh, well, he has it. Therefore, I'm entitled to get it now. Like that's just their mentality. And it's like, wait a minute. You really think that? You really believe this? That like you're entitled to what this what this man did? The amount of pain, the amount of rejection, like getting rejected from different clubs, okay? Were you there when he was getting rejected from them clubs? When the club said, "Nah, we're not taking him." Were you there when he was having injury problems? But yet you feel like, "Oh, okay, well I can just come in, swoop in, and it's all mine." This is ridiculous. Okay? This is ridiculous. But let's listen to what Mr. Osime said that made a lot of women mad. As a matter of fact, it made many mad. Okay, it made many, many, many mad. I'm telling you. Um. Okay, let's just share this. Okay, and I agree with him. When you listen to the way he talks, like he has every right to think the way he thinks. Okay, hold on. Let me find it. Let me find it. Hold on. Where is it? Where are my like videos? Hold on. Let me see my like videos. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, here we go.
I've worked at some of the largest retailers on the planet. You think they all have it figured out, but Shopify really does. You can build.
They prefer money to life.
I've worked at some of the largest retailers on the planet. You think they all have it figured out, but Shopify really does. You can build.
Estimated to cost £150 million by the next transfer season.
You just a beg. What did you say? Buy two, I beg. You know, easy to show person love. Oh, this kind of word will
I
do.
swear, girl.
So when people like come meet me, show like they say that thank you very much. I see what you do. Keep going. All this things like that. It's a privilege.
You have to be humble in this life.
most of the time, sef, the money wey you get na other person motor, all your net worth. I was only imagined to become a professional football player when I was still in the trenches. But then
You see that he said he was still in the trenches. Like that's the thing. Like I hate to say it, I really hate to say this, but like when I really look at it and stuff like that, I realize that a lot of women don't care if you were in the trenches. They don't care that like you were muscling your way through like getting to a certain level that you're at, because I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of women live their life on cruise control, things like that, and they were given what they were given what they were asked for with feminism. They were given everything literally they were asked for, but like they don't care that you weren't given anything and that you had to take everything that you have, but you took it in a lawful way, in an honorable way.
the situation of the family was really tough, so we had to like go to sell sport newspaper at Ojota, sell pure water. And as at that time, I was fetching water for my neighbors and anything like that. Sometimes the rest of the house will have light and our own room doesn't have. I've got my friend here in the trenches. He used to give me food. I've known Victor.
So as you see, like you see that like it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy for him to like do what he's doing right now. You know what I mean? And I hate to say it, but a lot of women don't respect that. Like a lot of women don't like respect like the journey, right? They just kind of like see maybe the chains, they see the nice car and things like that, and they look at that and then they just respect that, but they don't respect the grit and everything that came behind that thing. You know, they don't respect that. Like that's the one thing that I find with them. You know, and I hate to say it, I said it on my video that I played. A lot of people will say, "Oh, it's not all women though," but it's a majority. We can say it's a majority because we're seeing it. If it wasn't a majority, then more people would be getting married right now. More people would be open for marriages in the West. But I can assure you one thing: they're still getting married in Africa. You know.
Since like 20 years ago, we actually grew up together.
Then we used to eat like Indomie on Griman size and bread, 18 naira bread. That time is really big. So I used to finish it. Uh-huh.
Solo tú y yo, chulo. ¿Qué es este bla bla bla?
Louis, ¿a dónde vas?
Tengo algo que hacer. Nada de bla bla bla.
¡Hey!
bla,
Ya te puedo ver
bla,
manejando esta
bla,
belleza.
bla, bla,
Viene con todos los extras,
bla,
pero
bla,
sin freno.
No, no. Óyeme, vamos para allá.
So I want to show something really quickly. This was sent to me on my feed. This was sent on my on to my WhatsApp Instagram link. The thing is, as I said before, I don't know why like certain women have a problem when other women are choosing you. Like I don't know what the problem is. I think as like just human beings that not we may not be entitled to a partner, okay, but we're entitled to we're not we're I mean, we want a partner, right? So I don't see the problem. So here's a Nigerian brother, right? And don't get it twisted. Although Nigeria was not a French colony, you do have even a section in Nigeria where they only speak French. I forgot the name of it, but it's actually like a gateway to Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire. So you will have some Nigerians who speak French. You also have a lot of Cape Verdeans who are living in France too. You have a lot of Cape Verdeans living in Ivory Coast. Now, this brother, this is how easy it is. Now, this brother did this, but imagine him trying to do this in the States with a woman. Do you know what happened? And granted, he's not even a tall brother. What would women say in the West if he tried to do what he's doing right now? Hold on. So here, so this brother, he had this Nigerian brother. He had the two Cape Verdean women, and he actually put his arm around one of them. They didn't say anything bad. They didn't say, "Oh, get away from me," or anything like that. They didn't say, "Oh, get away, you dusty." Oh, sexual harassment. No Me Too movement. It was a friendly atmosphere where he can be himself. This can't happen in the West. I'm sorry. It's just not happening. Okay. And no, I'm not encouraging outside marital relations. I'm not encouraging that. But what I'm showing you is how easy it is in another place. Okay. To even just have a natural interaction is easier in another place than it is in the West, a place that champions and prides itself upon being progressive, prides itself upon being hospitable, prides itself upon being um civilized, when it's the complete opposite. But let's continue with our OC May story.
Stop you from winning. The strategies you put in place to win could make or break you.
Let's talk about Victor Osimhen. Go getter, goal getter, Victor Osimhen.
Yeah, very good player. Had a free kick, just shoot it. Boom! They scored again. And the ball went in. So I just took out my clothes. I started crying. The fame doesn't mean anything to me. Me, I don't care, man. There are a lot of people that are famous, but their bank account red.
So what he said is that, he said there's a lot of people that are famous and their bank account are red. And, I believe that because, for example, you have a lot of women, especially the ones in the workforce, the ones who got the degrees, right? Uh, there was this one TikTok that I was actually watching where a woman is $185,000 in debt. And it's like you would need to win the lottery or make the most soundest investments to pay off all that debt. You know what I mean? Like you would have to do something unbelievable to pay off that debt. It would be very, very, very crazy, but yet they walk around like flashing this. They walk around saying that, oh, we're the most educated group of people and things like that. And it's like, okay, well, if you're educated, then you should be educated enough to realize that, you know, having a boatload of debt once you enter the workforce is kind of like working backwards. It's not really educated, you know. But let's continue.
Because it's very physical. Of course, it's very physical, but do you know my ability? When you try to tell me that I cannot do this thing, even though I don't really know how to do this thing, I want to make sure that I learn how to do it and come back to challenge you. The people that are saying those type of things now, they're hiding their head in shame.
Osimhen
And that's true. Like that's true. Like why is someone calling me? Sorry about that. Someone was calling me. But what I was saying is what I was saying, right, is that what I was saying, okay, is that what I was saying is that um um let me see. I was saying that sometime, even as crazy as this sounds very crazy, but this kind of like I've came to this theory kind of thing. I've came to a theory that, as you heard OC May say, that people say you can't do something, um, and when you actually see to it that you learn to do it, right? Um, you learn to do it. Hold on. When people, like, I hate to say it, but what I realize, right, is a modern woman will say be better, right? But don't be better than them. Okay? They will say don't be better. Like they won't say don't be better than them, but they don't want you to become quote unquote better than them, because they realize that, you know, if you become better than them, that means your options will be better than them. That's the one thing I understand. So when you like and by the way, I've there's no harm, no foul, and quote unquote how people say, "Oh, you're evolving." Like I think every human owes it upon themselves to evolve, right? Um, there's no harm, no foul in evolving. So what I realize is that I evolved from just being called like Muslim passport bro to just being muhajirin, just being an immigrant, a muhajir, like a muhajirin. Because I realized that, like, for example, like if you fall under the banner of quote unquote passport bro, like there's nothing wrong with that, right? However, it triggers the unwanted attention, and it can also trigger like people actually like trying to block you from achieving what it is that you want to achieve, you know? So it's better for you to like just clear out the noise. And yes, you should share the information. You should let people know about what's out there, but you should do it in a way where it's kind of like it's not like just presenting the option of women. You understand? It should also have the option of just like the cost of living, for example, and things of that nature. You know what I mean? So, because people will hate to see you progress. And the thing is, like, modern women will say, "Oh, we just asked you to be better. We just asked you to be such and such." But guess what? They did not ask the men that they decided to procreate with. They did not ask the men who they gave their best years to be better. They didn't ask that to them. But they're asking you to be, in essence, when a modern woman says be better, right? What she's asking is basically become a bigger ATM to me. That's what she's basically asking you to do. That's what's basically happening. Okay? That's basically what she's doing. Is she wants you to level up so you can just finance her lifestyle. Okay. So, with that being said, I want to continue.
Currently plays for Napoli.
If later we go somewhere nearby just to look for some.
Osimhen has been treated with by Napoli itself. Osimhen remains a big deal to the fans and people of Napoli because he has made them proud, almost as proud as their idol, Maradona.
You have a big problem. See, your browser is just like a Bedrock Superflat. Okay, it works, but this will get boring.
You don't understand. I was just.
To me, I don't care, man. Some want to do a lot of things for fame, which is absolutely scap. This fame won't bring you even money. Do a lot of things for fame. The fame doesn't mean anything to me. Me, I don't care, man. Some want to do a lot of things for fame, which is absolutely scap. This fame.
And that's true. The crazy thing is, right? The crazy thing, right, is that people, especially modern women, what I find they do is they'll literally talk out their butts just for views. They'll literally talk out their butts just for like some validation. They'll literally talk out their butts for people to jump on the bandwagon. Okay? That's what I notice. So when one does things, when one says things, the other will say, "Oh, well, yeah, it's okay." When one says it's okay to be delusional, the other will say, "Yeah, it's okay to be delusional." They'll say that, you know? They'll say these kind of things. Okay? That's what I notice. They'll do anything for fame. There was this one woman for some reason, I don't know why. This was weird to me. I was like, "What? Why would you do that? Like, huh? Like what why would you do this? Like this makes no sense." But she broke a television at Walmart, you know? Why would you break a television at Walmart? You know, that's weird to me. That's crazy, you know?
Fame won't bring you even money.
What's the most expensive thing you bought?
I've got to fall back to something.
As you can possibly tell already, Victor has given me the privilege of spending the entire day with Bo, as long as he's happy to support. Today, he's going to be shooting also from Lagos.
At the show love, normally. At the show love, yeah.
But you know, it's kind of like very boring.
To be proud.
Like, yeah, I think so.
I can chill with anybody. So long I get my security, we get gone. If you try funny thing, you get hit. I can be sometimes mean in some certain kind of way. For example, now someone cannot do me evil and expect me to pay them with good.
So, you know, and that's and I say that too. I don't say that in a way of like being violent or say that in a way of being like hostile, but when I say like what I say is that yeah, you should be mean to modern women. But what I mean by that is that it should only be yes or no answers. If by a chance they decide to, you know, entertain you, it should just be yes. It should just be no. It should just be I don't know. Like that's how it should be from here on out. You know, I hate to say it, but like I believe that most of them have the programming of disliking men. So you have to protect yourself. That's the thing. You know, I it's just you just don't see it in the West per se. You know, a like femininity. You don't just see it in the West. And many people will say, "Oh, well, you have to blame it on the men. You know, you have to blame it because of how the men have became." But the thing is they essentially wanted to be men. That's the thing. You know, like they essentially wanted to be that. So now that they got what they want, they're complaining about it. And I don't know why they're complaining about it. I mean, they were given everything, literally. They were given everything that they asked for, so I don't know, I don't see where the complaints are coming from. It's very weird to me that they're complaining, you know. They were given everything that they wanted, per se. So yeah, you do have to be mean, like once one crosses you, that's it, you just let them go.
I will pay evil for evil.
What's your proudest moment so far?
Proudest, the birth of my daughter, actually. For real. It's a beautiful moment for me. It's been long that I had tears in my eyes, like when I saw tears. Everybody they cry now. They are a secret moment. I be alive.
But they say men don't cry, sir.
Men does though. A lot has happened in my
Maybe behind closed doors, like we cry, but it's been a minute since I cried. um you know we all have our moments, you understand, but most of the time men aren't going to cry like out in the open. That's just something that like a man's not going to do. He's just not going to cry out in the open, like that's just something that's not going to go down. So yeah, you know what I mean. But yeah, but you can see that how kids change a man, and what on the issue of a kid, right? Your whole world kind of turns upside down when you have a kid. You understand? Like, so that's why it's so important because, for example, like, but if you lay down and procreate with a woman that's just like, you know, just vindictive and is going to use that kid as a measuring stick to get certain things that she wants, then it's just going to end bad for you. You know what I mean? And I hate to say it, but it happens all the time. It just really happens all the time. And the man, I hate to say it, but most of the time the man has no choice but to like not even attempt to be in the kid's life because of the vindictiveness of the mother. It's sad to say it, but let's continue.
love life and everything. But then I have a daughter now, so I think she get all the love now. In that aspect, I'm disciplined because I don't want to just have kids all over the place.
So, two words that he said that were very important is that he said that I'm disciplined in that aspect, and I just don't want to have kids all over the place. You know, I've actually heard this being said that like modern women will look at you as weird. Modern women will look at you as 9AY if you don't have any kids or are not married at, um, after a certain age. But on the flip side, she's not looked at as that. She's looked at as working on herself. She's looked at as, oh, she's been through trauma. She's just going through her healing phase and things like that. For example, the woman Ebony King, yeah, I think her name is Ebony King. She's not looked at as like a combative, difficult woman. She's looked at as a lady who is overqualified for a lot of men, but the same men that she wants to deal with don't want to deal with her, right? So, um, you know, this brother OC May said, this brother OC May said that I'm disciplined in that regard because I don't want kids everywhere. But believe it or not, as crazy as this sounds very very crazy. But as crazy as it sounds, modern women will prefer you to have kids because they'll be like, okay, well, you know, the fact that he has kids means that he was desired, right? So they will actually prefer that you be desired by other women than you not to have kids at all because they will feel that, okay, well, if he doesn't have kids, it means that he's not desired. But really, what it can mean is that he's disciplined. Okay. It means that he's disciplined. It means that he's actually focused. Because Victor Osimhen, he's you know he's actually me and him are the same height, which is not like it's not really like that big of a flex, but he's 6'1", I'm 6'1". Um, but he has, like, I guess you can say that, like, in terms of being like an African man, he's a select African male. Now will let's just say will um Western European and Eurocentric people find him attractive? Not necessarily, but the people who are into, like, just I guess you can say a what's the word I want to look for? Who are into the who are into like the archetype. Yes, if you want to say, like, if men, like, if the women are into those the archetype of the West African or the typical African male, then yeah, he'll be a select male. Yeah, for sure. Most definitely. He'll be a select one. So with that being said, you can listen to him and what he says.
You have to be careful. Some they want to like flock around you because of what you can offer them financially. You guys give yourself brain when.
So again, the thing is, for example, when you look at a rapper, when you look at an athlete, right? His status is what brings, like, the women around. Like, that's the thing. Like, the status of the women, the status of the rapper and the athlete will bring the woman around, right? Um, the thing is about that, right? Here's the thing about that. Um, it's only about the status, and it's only about the status that really appeals to them, right? Because you can take these rappers, right? And you know, without the rap, they wouldn't be select men. You understand? Without the fame, they wouldn't be the select men. And so that's why, unfortunately, women do flock around them, is because they think, okay, what can this guy do for me? What can I get out of this guy? It's the case with Brittany Renner. You know, she she even said that her role model was Karen Steffens. And anybody who knows what Karen Steffens is she's the archetype for a groupie, you know. So when you have these kind of dynamics, you understand that these women, they only look at status. I mean, you can, for example, you can be an aerospace engineer, right? You can be an aerospace engineer, as I said. Your bankroll can be higher than a TikTok influencer, right? Um, um, the thing is that aerospace engineer will make more than the TikTok influencer. However, because he doesn't have the status of the TikTok influencer, that money doesn't matter. You know what I mean? His bank account, although larger, doesn't matter. You know, that's the thing.
You slack, these people will take advantage of you. I don't really like when girls come for me.
You like to go and meet them?
I want to like see a girl. This girl makes sense. Like, okay, now make her approach her now.
So that's another thing too about that is that unfortunately in this day and age, where we're living at, like the way things go, if a woman come for you, I know this sounds bad what I'm about to say, but if a woman come for you, you should like be suspicious, you know. But if the woman is having good family, if the woman is coming from traditional family and she's shy, but she expressed an interest in you, right? You have to just do the screening and just find out and be like, okay, it seems like there's something here. Like be like, okay, there's a potential here. But if a modern woman, like for example, a Karen, a Keisha, a modern Ling Ling, or Maria comes for you, you should already raise your head in suspicion. I hate to say it, but there's not. I was in the West. I don't think there's like a general, like generous women. I really think that most of them they hate men and they only look at the benefits of being with the man, not looking at what they can bring to the man's life. But let's go into that.
This one. Then I like this type of thing. Not the other way around though. Some guys think it's a flex, but it's not a flex.
No. Are you more like about what's upstairs than physical looks?
You mean in girls? I don't care about looks, so they say table.
So of course there's gonna be, of course, for example, like, he'll say he doesn't care about looks, but of course, like there's gonna be some sort of attraction when you choose like who you're gonna lay down with. You're not gonna just be like, oh, I'm gonna lay down with that one, or oh, I'm gonna marry that one. Like there has to be some kind of like physical attraction there. I think what he means about like he don't care about looks is he means that it's not the number one priority. I think that's what he mean about that. Is that like it's not the top thing on his list. That's why I believe he means when he says he doesn't care about looks. Right? So this is why I believe, this is the thing that I think he was going for when he said, he don't care about looks. So let's listen to this next part. And this next part is what made women mad. This is what made a lot of women mad. Made a lot of Western women mad when they heard it, and they just went crazy. But let's hear.
Which one now? This one. Then I like this type of thing. Not the other way around though. Some guys think it's a flex, but it's not a flex.
Are you more like about what's upstairs than physical looks?
You mean in girls? I don't care about looks, so they say table. If you're not bringing anything to the table, I'm not doing anything. I cannot buy a Birkin bag for a girl. Birkin bag of how much you say they give me 100 and something K, right? And you reach my turn. You are telling me a king is born today.
So that made a lot of women mad, when he said that, because again, he brought up the table, like he brought up the whole thing. Like he said basically like, yo, if you're not doing anything for my life, right? Then you don't need to be in my life. And that's the way I felt the whole time. Like when I took my trip to Cuba, right? There were women there willing to make moves, okay? Because I had the currency and it was like, okay, can you get me this? Can you get me that? They would be willing to do that. Like I said, can you give me a box of Cuban cigars? They would be willing to help me get it at the best price possible. Okay. When it came to coffee straight from the Sierra Maestra Mountains, they would be willing to help me get those things. When it came to me, even just like being out and about, they would invite me inside their house for chop. They would be like, hey, come chop with us. Like, because I was at like a African, it was an African, it was kind of like an African expo type thing. And they would be like, hey, come chop with us. Even if I like, even the woman I was staying with, right? She even said, like, my sister told her, because my sister's studying medicine there. She even said, my sister told me to just take care of you and see you through. So, like, even when you look at those women, no, they can have barely anything, right? But they would still be willing to help you out, right? With what they do have. You ask the modern woman here if she's, man, I don't know. Maybe you even ask her, hey, can you maybe like, can you like, let me just think of something. Hey, can you bake a cake? Like, can you bake a cake? I'm in a mood for a cake or something like that. Even that is doing, even that she'll look at, you're doing too much. She'll feel like she's doing too much. She'll feel like all she has to do is show up. That's what she'll say, pretty much. That her presence is enough. But let's continue with what the brother says.
Can't afford it now.
She can't
You
afford
can't
it.
afford something like a Becky bag.
You know they stay with person Uber. So you know there's someone who will work hard. You need to like be careful. You need to be careful. You need to gain something. Personally, for me, if you know they offer anything for my life, you go dey far from me.
Exactly. That's the thing. Like, if you're not offering anything for my life, I'm better alone. That's what I say. Like, that's why I've always been by myself. That's why when I'm living in the West, I'm off grid. Because these women can't offer anything to my life. If you're not going to be an asset to me and you're just going to be a liability to me, what do I need you for? You know, it's supposed to be where you guys are complimenting each other. It shouldn't be just one-way street. But that's what they think. Okay. And even when it is a one-way street, they're very unappreciative of it. Very, very unappreciative. So that's why I just watch. I just watch. I'm building my Noah's Ark. I'm building my Noah's Ark that's not in America. That's what I'm doing. I'm building my Noah's Ark that's not in America and not in the West in general. So this is what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like that's the truth. Like, why are you that like I hate to say it, but some of these women, man, they just want to hang on. That's what they want to do. We have a word for that, We have a word for that, you know. So that's what I'm saying. J- And I hate to say it, but like when you have this kind of mentality, they use you like, oh, you're broke. They use like fault language for you basically standing on something. But me, I'm gonna stand on something. Like I don't care. I stand on something. These women, I hate to say it, they're bad right now, you know, because of the experience they decide to put themselves through.
go differ from me because me I be hard worker, so I don't need leeches around me. But yeah, everybody in the hustler they work. Him get people they work under am. You know, now this type of people, don't be babes just come with every time they go club. No. I prefer to carry my guys go club than babes.
I get you.
So that's what I'm saying. Like that part of the video made a lot of women mad, because of that. It's clear that he had boundaries. It's clear that he's not just like, despite having the fame, despite having all of these things, that he's not just like going around reckless, you know. And that's what separate him from probably like other athletes, like Western born athletes, because you have to understand something. Like when a Western athlete finally makes it to the top and he came from sensitive circumstances, the first thing that's on his mind is not like discipline, but to go ahead and choose his pick of the litter. Because, maybe the pick of the litter was denied to him, um, like let's just say maybe in his younger years, but then as he got into college years and stuff like that, the women saw the potential. They saw that he was a breakout star, and of course the access to women became available then. But that you know once of course he signs his contract, that's when the pool becomes even more open, right? So with that being said, he decides to swim in that pool. But Victor, he decided to like stay keep walk the straight and narrow, which I can really appreciate. And it also goes against the stereotypes that some Western women have perpetrated a lot, that Nigerians are lack discipline, because there are a few actors who are smashing everything, but these are the same guys that they still want regardless. So one thing too that other Western women were faulting, and I think I'll end on this note because I've been here for like an hour now. But and I'll come back on inshallah, I'll come back on Wednesday with another one. But one thing that I noticed is that Western women were faulting Sadio Mane for his choice in a mate. And his choice in a mate, there's some talk that she's actually 18 years old. There's been talk that she's 19 years old. There's been even talk that she's 26 years old. Regardless of her age, yeah. Regardless of the age, right? It's his choice. When you look at his background, it's the same story. It's the same story. It's a story of coming from sensitive circumstances to make something of himself. Okay. It's still um it's still that's the thing about that's the thing about him. So why are people mad at his choice of woman? You know, they think that, oh, he groomed her and things like that. But they don't have that same energy for a woman who I think she's like 39, and I believe she trapped a 21-year-old um a 21-year-old uh NBA player, and she got pregnant by him, you know? But let's let's get into it.
Did my legs shrink? I knew Alaska Airlines Premium Class had extra leg room. I'm gonna try.
And I think Sadio Mane, I think he's 31 and his wife is 19. So I don't know why they're even tripping off of an age gap. I really don't.
With eBay Authenticity Guarantee, it's checked by experts. Every
Hi, thank you very much for watching, and we promise to bring you some exciting content throughout the period of the African Cup of Nations. But before that, it looks like Sadio Mane and wife Aisha Tamba have been the talk of town for some days now after the event that took place in Senegal. Sadio Mane finally getting married to a beautiful bride in Senegal, Aisha Tamba, popularly known as Aisha Tamba. And this has taken over the internet, particularly because of the personalities involved. Aisha Tamba is a very beautiful lady, though not on the internet in Senegal. Is somehow well known because the father is a top contractor, but we will come to that. Sadio Mane finally got off the market, and it's become one of the most searched events on Google because Sadio Mane has gotten some crashes on the continent for his generosity and benevolence that has endeared him to many Africans and even beyond. So the events, wedding event in Senegal has become very popular on the internet, and so many tabloids, very big tabloids across the world reporting about it. And we wanted to get somehow deep into the events behind the scenes. So there are some controversies regarding the age of Aisha Tamba. And we can confirm that Aisha Tamba is 18, turning 19 this year. So basically, she's 19 years.
And there's no problem with that. She's legal. She's legal. It's no problem with that. But let a modern woman say, oh, he's grooming her. Oh, he's insecure and things like that. Don't you think that if he wanted to choose a woman who was like, for example, closer to his age brackets, that wouldn't be a problem? So I don't know what they're on about. Like this is kind of like weird to me, like what they're on about. It really is. It really is. It's weird to me, bro. It's very, very weird. But let's continue on.
And Aisha Tamba is in the final year in a university in Senegal. We cannot disclose that, but she's in the final year awaiting her bachelor's degree somehow in some few months. So that is what we can confirm. And how did we get to know about that? Aisha Tamba, 19-year-old Aisha Tamba, is a daughter of Papa Tamba, who is one of the top architects in West Africa and a very top contractor, as we may call it, in Senegal, has been undertaking very huge constructions in Senegal, government buildings and projects for the wealthy people in Senegal, has been undertaking projects for the rich in Senegal. So Papa Tamba, as you see on your screen, is the man in contention that we're talking about. Papa also has worked on some sporting facilities in Senegal, so he's well known for his ingenuity when it comes to construction. And how did he meet Sadio Mane? Sadio Mane has often said in so many interviews that one of the people he trusts in this world is his uncle. And this uncle you see on your screen is the one who has been managing a lot of his facilities, a lot of his projects, properties as well in Senegal. When he's not there and there's something that he needs to undertake, it is uncle who comes to him and says, we need to do this. So Sadio Mane's uncle is the one who was managing some of the properties and construction sites. But during one of the projects to be undertaken, Sadio Mane's uncle did not look further than Papa Tamba, the man who has become his in-law now. So when he got in touch with him to undertake the project, Sadio Mane also came around to inspect or supervise one of the projects. And when he met Papa Tamba, they've been speaking a lot, and he went home to visit him and saw Aisha Tamba who is the daughter. So there have been some conversations before that. The lady was 16 and above when she finally met Sadio Mane and they spoke. And the age for consent in Senegal is 16. So Sadio Mane was well within range and has.
So this is what I'm saying. Like the age of consent, like I don't know what these modern women are on about. Like we have different cultures, bro. Like as a matter of fact, like when my dad was present, may Allah have mercy for me. No, may Allah have mercy on him. When my dad was present, he was even saying, I have a 18-year-old for you, virgin, right? Wasn't a big deal. Now, granted, I'm in my late 20s, but it wasn't a big deal, like it didn't. I wasn't like saying, oh, that's too much. It's the same thing again when there was this. It's the same pattern again, where it's like, I hate to say it, but the women who, because there's this impression, right? And we know this in Islam, that when you're fasting, fasting actually gives you like good health and things like that, right? We also know that when you're fasting, it actually helps you and like just reset your body, for example. So when you implement these things to upkeep yourself, it reflects on how you look, right? So a lot of the time these younger women are checking for you anyway. Like a lot of time these younger women are finding you attractive anyway. They're already looking at you, so to say. So, with Sadio Mane, I don't see what the outrage was about what he was doing. Okay, there was no outrage about it. There shouldn't be an outrage about what he decided to do with his life. And when it came to choosing a partner, because I'm not saying he couldn't find a another Senegalese woman around his age brackets that didn't have the baggage that the modern Western woman has. But I'm just saying that he went for someone that there was a rapport. He went with someone that through his uncle who he trusted. So this is why I find it quite odd that the modern woman has this outrage for what this man was doing. It's weird to me, bro. It's entirely weird, but let's continue on.
Flouted any rule. And as a Muslim, he waited for some 2 years to finally tie the knots. So that is how Sadio Mane.
So again, he even did it the right way. Okay, he did it in a way where that he waited until she was like of the Western legal age to marry. He could have just went ahead and said, okay, I'll do it at 16. He could have did that if he wanted to. But instead, he just said, you know what? I'm going to wait until the age of 18 and then I will marry her. So I really don't see the problem with this. Okay. I really don't see the problem with what he did. I really don't see that the issue. But lo and behold, people were making it an issue. People made it a big issue. Okay, I'm telling you.
Got in touch with the wife, Aisha Tamba, through the dad who manages Sadio Mane's construction sites in Senegal. So basically, that's it. And the lady is not on the internet because the dad, we understand, has forbidden her. She's prohibited from being on the social media until she receives her bachelor's certificate, and which will be in few months.
So you can tell that she has a good dad, even. You can tell her dad was, and this is the importance of having a dad. This is the importance of having a father in the life. Okay? Yeah, that may seem strict to a lot of people. Like him putting that down, him putting that rule down that yo, no social media until you finish your bachelor's. Okay? That may seem strict, right? But the fact of the matter is, like, I'm just going to be honest, I wouldn't want to do what like a lot of Muslim couples are doing on social media. They show themselves kissing each other, they show themselves on vacation with one another and things like that. I don't want to do that. I don't want my relationship to be on social media at all. Like, in fact, I will cover my wife's face, you know, in order to avoid any kind of envy or any kind of things that may occur. Okay. As a matter of fact, uh, Simone Biles, because of her choice in a man, you know, if I were her, if I was her, you know, because the hyenas came out pouncing, if I was her, I wouldn't have even told people I'm getting married. I would have just kept it quiet as possible. I wouldn't have even shown marriage or anything like that. I wouldn't have even broadcasted marriage if I was her. Because if this man who is of a lower stat, well, to me, he's a higher status than Simone Biles because obviously he's one of the best Senegalese players to ever lace up the boots and one of the best players in general outside of his nationality to lace up the boots, you know. But I wouldn't if he's going through this outrage, you know, there was going to be an outrage for what she decided to do, you know.
So Aisha Tamba has stayed very exclusive from internet and has been living in a private life. The dad is a very wealthy man as well. So you cannot say this is a gold digging business. The father has been working on very huge construction sites for government, for rich people, and including Sadio Mane and other top footballers. And Sadio Mane was the one who finally got to meet Aisha Tamba when she came home during vacation, and when Mane was also inspecting one of the facilities and visited Papa Tamba. So this is what we gather from our sources in Senegal. But then the wedding ceremony was held in Papa Tamba's house, a very luxurious house. The invited guests were around 50 to 60 family, friends, and close associates, and some few footballers, top footballers in the Senegalese national team were there to support Sadio Mane. And of course, some top government officials who are in close association with Sadio Mane. So this is where the wedding ceremony took place in Sadio Mane, father-in-law's house, his previous construction manager and now father-in-law. And so Aisha Tamba has returned to school to continue with her education. Sadio Mane has joined the national team. He was given a day off. But before that, the day of the wedding, after the event in Casablanca, that's a border town to Bambali, where Sadio Mane also comes from. The couple drove to Dakar, a very wealthy place, luxurious and exclusive area in Dakar. This is reserved for the rich, secluded enclave, they say, in Senegal. That is where Sadio Mane, for 2 years, has been putting up a mansion where he had promised to introduce the newly found wife on the day or the night.
I want you guys to also take note. If you are of African descent, continental African descent, or if you are of a Caribbean descent and you're in the West, please do not waste your time in buying a property in the West, okay? Please invest your time in building a property back home. Please invest your time in building multiple properties back home. Please invest your time in maybe like leasing a flat in the West, but really paying money to build a house back home. Do not buy a house in the West. The only logical way for you to buy a house in the West is for you to pay an insane loan, okay, the loan's going to be an insane amount. Or if you happen to hit the lotto and you're able to buy more than one house, because even I've done the math, I've done the numbers. You would have to make $1 million in order to comfortably be able to pay for a house that's $250,000. You would have to make $2 million to pay for a house comfortably that's $500,000. You would have to make, and I'm talking about like after taxes, okay? Because how many people are going to put a down payment on a house? Like let's say like you're getting a house. Let's say a house costs let's just say a house costs $375,000, right? Your down payment for that house is $75,000, right? If you go the conventional bank route, you're going to have to take out the loan of $300,000. When you combine that with interest and property taxes and insurance, you're going to end up paying more than what you paid for the house. Okay. And I don't know if the refinance game is going to keep on working the way it's working. Otherwise, you will have to probably end up selling the house if something unforeseen happens, of course. Hopefully that I don't wish that upon anybody. But if you buy a house back home, like in the Caribbean or something like that, or in Africa, chances are you're not only going to pay less money for buying that house or for building that house, right? But you know it's yours to keep. You know you're not going to have to worry about taxes and insurance on that house. It's a way better investment. Okay. That's the thing. That's why I'm saying spend your time back home. Also spend your time in the West, like just to get the resources to take back home. You know, I mean, I'm not going to disclose my game plan, but my game plan is kind of shaping to be that, you know.
Night of their wedding. So this is it. The project took around 2 years to complete.
Now, mind you, that house was in Senegal. And to be honest, you can't really separate that house from like a house somewhere in Manhattan Beach or something like that.
Was the day Sadio Mane was done with his wedding and drove the wife there, opened the place up, and introduced her to where they will be living for the rest of their lives. And it is a very, very plush, luxurious mansion. About 60-70% of it made of wood. Sadio Mane.
So that's what I'm saying too. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. You may be in the West, right? You may see a house for $300,000, right? Usually that house is going to be like maybe 2 bedrooms, right? You can take half of that or even a quarter of that, $375,000, and you can build a mansion back home. And you know, you can have different living quarters, especially if you're planning to be polygamous. You know, that way all the wives are maintained. They have separate living quarters in which they can live at. So that way you can keep from having conflict, right? This is one of the things about, because I mean, you can have a house here or you can have a mansion back home. It's up to you, you know.
I understand is a man who loves his natural settings. A lot of plants in the house. The interior decoration is super extravagant. Very, very, very extravagant. You can clearly see that Sadio Mane has an eye for good stuff. Particularly the cinema in the house. The cinema was was done by some foreign experts. And pretty soon you see them. Of course, these are the guys who worked on the cinema. It took them around 4 months to complete setting up the cinema.
So mind you, this is in Senegal. Okay, this is not in anywhere else. Can you please tell me, like, what regular house? Can you please tell me what regular house in the West has a cinema that looks like that? You know, like, can you please tell me something?
In the house. There is a football field, a small football field. There is two. There are two swimming pools in the house.
And you can tell that she's still shy too. You know, that's the thing. Like, that's one thing I want to say too is I like shy women, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I like shy women. That's a good thing. None of these women in the West are shy. You know, I'll even admit that I'm more shy than a lot of these women are. But don't let shyness be confused for weakness or like anything like that. It just means that you're kind of like, you know, like it just means you still have some decorum about yourself. And none of these women have that. You know, none of these women have it. You know, it's been a while since I've even heard a woman that actually sounds shy. You know what I mean? Like who actually sounds bashful, who actually sounds like um, you know, just regular, you know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he hit the jackpot. He knew what he was doing and he did it smart. Did it smart. And now women are shaming him for that, especially these UK women, because there were rumors that he was dating journalists and stuff like that. All types of things. But I'm going to step away for like 10 minutes. I'll be back. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Let's get back to it.
And so many very nice places in the house for Sadio Mane and the wife to enjoy. So this is where they spent one night. The lady was introduced to it. The construction, we say, was done by some foreign experts, and there are some local contractors as well joining to put up this mansion. They call it the S Villa or S Mansion. And during the construction, not a lot of people saw Sadio Mane around, so nobody knew who the owner was. It was just demarcated as the S Villa or S Mansion until its completion and the introduction or unveiling of the facility to Sadio Mane, wife by Sadio Mane himself. This is the place where Sadio Mane will be living. This is one of the construction workers after taking a picture with Sadio Mane when he came to supervise, saying Sadio Mane is very well satisfied with the facility.
One thing too that that like people say like high value man and stuff like that. These women don't even know. I don't even like to use the word high value man, but these women don't know what high value man is. They think a high value man is someone who looks good or who looks like who has like a lot of cash that they flash. This man is an example of what you call high value because he built a house, right? But he also provided jobs for other people. He also provided, and I'm pretty sure that from this job building his house, they're going to be well paid. Okay. They're going to be well paid. That's how you know you're doing something good when you provide a job for someone and a well paying job at that. These women don't look at, as a matter of fact, a lot of these women don't think of you like as helping, they don't think of helping another person as a flex, when really that's a flex. If you can put someone to work and make sure that they're well paid off, well caked, if you can give out jobs, okay, that's a flex, bro. That's one of the biggest flexes ever, okay? And making sure that they're well paid too. What? But a lot of these Western women don't care about that. It's as long as I'm getting what I need, that's all that matters. As long as he's financing my lifestyle, that's all that matters.
And says happy clients, of course. So the cinema was set up by a different group of people. The swimming pool, there is a swimming pool on the top floor, the rooftop of the building, one downstairs, the underground bunkers, and everywhere. So this is Sadio Mane's new mansion. He had been living in a place he set up whilst he was playing in Austria before he joined Liverpool, and he has around 4-bedroom house in his modest 4-bedroom house in Bambali, where he used to stay when he visited his family back then. But this is the man.
Opera GX is the best browser in the entire world. I've said that a million times now. I made the switch from Chrome to
mansion that Sadio Mane says he'll be living for the rest of his life, and has introduced Aisatu Tamba to the facility where the wife will be based, and the wife has returned to school. So this is some of the background news to the Sadio Mane event in Senegal, a wedding ceremony that took place with few friends and family and footballers. He has returned to the national team, and the wife has also returned to school. In about 2-3 months, she'll be graduating with a bachelor's degree. 19-year-old Aisatu Tamba has been the lucky girl who has snapped up former Liverpool striker, a multi-millionaire footballer, one of the most loved footballers on the continent. Sadio Mane is finally taken, and he's taken to a new house built purposely for the wife. He introduced her to the facility the night after the wedding, had their honeymoon there, and then he's flown to join the national team. He's been congratulated by the president of the country when the team visited before they departed for luck.
So the thing is, he could have had like a honeymoon anywhere else, but he just said, why not? I just keep it at home. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. Like he could have had a anywhere honeymoon moon anywhere in the world. He could have been to Maldives. He could have been to Seychelles. He could have went anywhere in the world, okay, to have his honeymoon. But, he just kept it at home. Like that's the thing. He kept it at home. This is, he gets respect for doing so. I mean, if he wanted to, as I said before, it's endless. The possibilities would have been endless for him on where he would have had the honeymoon at. It could have been like an endless selection for him, but he decided to like deal with having it at the house.
Cote d'Ivoire, Macky Sall has wished him well and welcomed Sadio Mane to the table of men. So that is basically it. We thank you very much. We wish Sadio Mane the best of luck in the AFCON, of course. We know he will be a very good husband. Thank you.
So as you see, even the person speaking about his marriage saw no problem in the issue. Like even the parent, like the person who was like looking at the marriage from a standpoint of security, from a standpoint that like he was just basically like getting the right person for himself. There was no issue. The marriage was not a problem. The marriage was not an issue. So I don't know why like they were getting upset about um him and the marriage. But there was something else I wanted to show. Hold on. Hold on. Something I want to see. I guess I'll just read it and I'll just end it on that note. Like I'll just read it and I'll end it on that note. I'll end the live on that note. But as you see, unfortunately, the Sadio Mane situation has created like women who are mad at the fact that he chose younger and that he's allowed to choose younger, not only due to the age permissibility in his country, but also due to the simple fact that this is also the instruction from our prophet, um, Nailatu Muhammad alayhi salatu salam, in which he instructs us that we should choose younger women in order to have to have a easier experience. um the thing is if we were to choose this option, then what are we getting in return if we choose this option? Hold on, let me see. Okay. Okay. Hold on just a minute. Let me see. Okay, let's see.
Try Old Spice Total Body with 24/7 freshness from pits to toes.
Creating a website can be complex. Choose Hostinger, a simple place to host your WordPress site.
So again, like, I hate to say this, I really hate to say this, but I really wouldn't want a woman who does this constantly with her phone. Like, I really would not want a woman who does this. I would look at it as like being self-absorbed. I would look at it as a red flag. I would look at it as like, this woman wants to be a movie star so bad. This woman wants comments and validation so bad that she's not comfortable in just being behind the scenes. Like, that's how I would look at it. So this is what they want you to be left with. This is not what I am going to be left with. Shout outs to the wall, by the way. Go subscribe to him.
Welcome, brothers. Nowadays, the marriage rates worldwide are on the decline.
Except for in Africa. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I've seen, as a matter of fact, hold on just a minute. Don't let it fool you either. Don't let these pro blacks fool you into believing that they're not checking for you. Don't let these pro blacks uh make you think that these women aren't checking for you when in reality they are checking for you. Okay, they are indeed checking for you. They're actually checking for me. I've had many conversations with Egyptian women who have been asking me to come to Egypt, and who have even said that you can build a house here in Egypt. Don't let it fool you. They are checking for you. Here is an example of this. This is one of my cousins. His name is Aliyu, and this is his wife Nadia, and they are with their newborn baby. Here, I'll put it in the camera. Just give me a second. Let's see. Just give me a second. All right. Give me a second. I'll show you. I'll show you two videos before I actually start. I'll show you two. This is my cousin Aliu, and this is his bride Nadia. So as you see, he has his North African wife, and they have their new daughter. Uh as you see, he's a stoic man. He's not all skinny and grinning like these other goofballs on Instagram who like show their wives doing all these kind of crazy uh or yo-yo type things. You can tell he's a cool, calm, collected guy. Tell his wife is very respectful. you know Now, the other thing I wanted to show you. The Nigerian brother with the Cape Verdeans. Okay. Hold on. Let me see. See, they didn't care. They were cool with him. They were cool. You see, no stepping away or anything like that. So again, don't let it fool you. Don't let these women shame you into thinking that that you're undesirable. You're only undesirable to them because which one will call it? They're looking for a sucker, and they've already played their trump card. That's the only reason you're undesirable. Don't let them shame you.
Every day, we witness more divorces, with women leaving their husbands. Don't miss this video, brothers. It will be quite interesting. If the content adds value to you, brother, I ask that you kindly give us a... Women are showcasing their relationships on TikTok, as if it were a kind of soap opera where they are the protagonists. After the bad man, they go through a whole process to find their beta provider, the women's savior. Brothers, it's a whole novel-like story, don't you think?
Divorced men 70 to 80% of the time. I would argue in relationships it's probably similar. Men aren't leaving, women are. So to a guy's point of view, he's going to commit to this girl, and what does he get? He doesn't get purity anymore. You know, these hoes. You know, he doesn't get youth anymore, so he doesn't get either of those things. A lot of times she already has a kid, so he's not fulfilling his mating strategy.
But keep in mind that Pearl is no different. She has she locked down a man yet? She's no different from what she's talking about. Don't let it fool you. Don't let it fool you guys. She's no different.
On top of that, even if he does find a good woman that maybe has the qualities he's looking for, she was going to want him to marry her. And what does he get out of that? Oh, she can leave and take half and take my kid. And she's paid to take my kids away from me. She gets more money if she takes my children. And so from the men's point of view, they're just kind of like, F it, because like women aren't wives nowadays. And what do they get out of it? But like men are logical. They're logical people. And so they're thinking, does the benefit outweigh the cost? And like, I just think as women, we have to look at ourselves and say, the benefits we bring nowadays don't outweigh the cost for.
I completely agree with her, brothers. I've never known couples, whether in friends, siblings, or even yourselves, that last 1 or 3 years dating, even living together, and then immediately get engaged. The woman changes after getting married, and it doesn't even last 3 years, sometimes not even 5 years from when they were dating. Why is this? Because they got what they wanted. There's no longer a goal to achieve, they've already won. They have the financial commitment of this man. If she doesn't want to work, he'll support her, or whatever happens, she has 50% of the man's assets as a life insurance policy. With an 80% divorce rate initiated by women and 50% of marriages ending in divorce, who dares to get married when the statistics are against you? There's no motivation nowadays for women to fight for their marriage. If divorcing is more beneficial, why bother fighting for something when I can get half of your assets without working? I'm financially stable. I don't have to take care of you. Why stay married for love, please? If I have 500 simps praising me on Instagram for being in a relationship, and I can have 3 boyfriends paying for my apartment, with a good amount in the bank, how long will the marriage last with benefits like these? There's a reason they say that for every divorce of a millionaire, a new empowered millionaire woman is born who doesn't need any man.
I genuinely do not even know how to begin talking about everything. I found out about the cheating after a really bad argument that we had. And in this argument, the things that he was saying didn't really correlate with the life that we were living. The year previous to me finding out about the cheating, we were trying to start a family. And we were very happy. We were accomplishing things that we never imagined of accomplishing. So we were living a very happy life. So I don't really know where it switched to being unhappy. The argument consisted of a lot of manipulation into making me believe that me asking for the bare minimum was unheard of and disgusting and something that I should have been ashamed of. I was so ashamed that I ended up writing him a 2-page letter, begging him for forgiveness. I read him this letter. He forgave me. And he just fell asleep so soundly that I knew that there was more to it. And I decided to go through his phone. When going through his phone, I found out everything. It was right in front of me, and I saw my world crumbling in front of me. It was messages between him and women. It was messages between him and his friends with screenshots of the conversations of him and women. It was voice recordings. It was Google Translation because he didn't know how to say it in English. So he was translating it into English so that it can make sense when he was flirting in English. And my whole life just flashed before my eyes. It was the most traumatic thing that I could have ever experienced. And when we chose to try to make it work, I thought we were both going to work, and it wasn't. I was spending my nights praying over him and begging God and pleading with God to repair my marriage, while he was continuously lying to me and still making a fool out of me in every way possible. He was not giving me any reasons to trust him. It was just not being reciprocated, and I was fighting alone. It all hit a climax when I found out more lies and more things that he was being untruthful about. And
How much you want to bet that this guy was like looking like I guess you can say your phenotypical apex dude? How much you want to bet?
unfaithful. And he looked at me in the eyes and he told me, I do not know how to respect you. I picked up my things, I left. And the hardest part, I thought at the time, was living with him, trying to repair my marriage while he just discarded me like trash. But in reality, it was restarting my life and from scratch. And it was very hard. And I made these videos not to post or for clout. I made them because I needed to heal. I needed to have something to hold on to and grasp. And
So keep in mind that I want you guys to keep something in mind too. I want you guys to keep something in mind. People, they'll say, oh, you need therapy. They'll say, oh, you need all these things, right? I want you to keep in mind that not only do these these women, right, go to therapy, but they use TikTok for therapy. I'm just letting you know that.
tell myself, you're going to be okay, and you're going to look at these and you're going to be fine. And that's exactly what this is. And it ends up that I'm not alone. And there have been many other women who, or men too, that are coming out and saying like, this has happened to me as well, and worse. It's shit. It's a shit process. It hurts. It's painful, but you grow and you get better. And while someone can destroy a part of your life, you're actually just starting a brand new book and a brand new chapter that has endless opportunities. So it's shit, but it gives you hope.
Completely agree with her, brothers. I've never known couples. This woman seems to be of Latin descent, probably seeking a man from her homeland. The issue is that many of these Chads are just looking for a way to enter this country, not to form a family. Many of them already have a partner whom they keep hidden. That's the beauty of the passport, bro. This rarely happens to men. One of the advantages of being a man, unlike women, is that a woman can date 20 men, and maybe only 3 genuinely want to make her their wife. A man can date 10 women, and perhaps 9 want to be the wife of that man. That's why the passport, bro, has worked well for some men. Now, getting back to the topic, she wrote him a letter asking him to come back, made a video crying, constantly talks about him. One thing I have to say about Chad is that he creates an emotional roller coaster for women, driving them crazy for him. If he had been a good guy, we would be seeing a video where she complains about her useless ex-husband. Instead, she makes sympathy videos crying over Chad. Learn from Chad, brothers. This man who discarded her is moving on with his life as if nothing happened. Just watch the other video.
I swear I will never understand what I did to this.
You to win.
What I did to deserve like this much disrespect and this much hurt. If my husband can't love me, it can't respect me. I just like I feel like I'm mourning. I'm not only mourning him, and like mourning the person that he was, but I'm mourning the family that we built, and I'm mourning the children that I thought I was going to have, and I'm mourning all my family.
This woman is around 26 to 30 years old.
So the thing I want you to understand is this: when you see videos like this, right? When you see them crying on social media, when you see them like having these crocodile tears, right? It's not your obligation to like console them, so to say, because the thing is what they're not telling you is they're not telling you the endless one night stands that they have. They're not telling you the endless chads that they had. They're not telling you this. They're presenting an image like, oh, I've been good little old me, but I don't have a family. They're not telling you. They're also not telling you that they're shooting for the galaxy in order to lock down apex man. They're not telling you that, for example, that there were average men who even had potential to be above average men that were lining up to have a shot with them. They're not telling you that. Okay. So this is why their tears are like, this is why the tears should not matter to you. You know, these tears should not sway you per se.
Old, nearly hitting the wall. As we all know, the wall doesn't forgive. It's painful that her first marriage went down the drain, perhaps, but you chose the man you were going to marry more based on emotion than reason. This is why men stop seeing red flags. Their wonderful standards don't apply here. They apply them to simps because those women are of high value. Good men need to be put to the test, but they don't apply this to Chad. This is what you're seeing here. She was thinking about having children with him, appearing somewhat traditional. The best thing that happened to her was not reaching that point, or the pain would be double. She still has some time, though she has to move fast to find a beta provider because she has hit the wall, or is almost welcoming it. The wall doesn't forgive, brothers.
It definitely does get better, but we have to remember that healing is sporadic. With me, I had days that I didn't even remember a time that I was sad. I was loving my life and living my life literally to the fullest. And then something triggering would happen and I would get sad. And immediately I was right down here as if the wound was like still super, super fresh and unhealed. The people that cheat, they don't understand the toll that it takes on a person. It is a pain like no other. I was so hurt when it happened that at first, I was not eating, I was not sleeping. I lost a total of 40 pounds throughout my process. And it wasn't like I lost it in a healthy way. I just lost it because I was so depressed. But I started to track my victories. I started to track the things that I was doing better at.
Well, like I hate to say it, but if I hate to say it, like if you lose like 40 pounds from someone cheating, you have some mental issues. That's not even like that's not even like a thing of um you know, how should I say it? That's not even a thing of um uh um it's not even a natural occurrence really for like getting over like cheating or something like that. That's like you having a mental problem really. You know, that's like you having like some mental like some, yeah, that's what that is really, you know.
Started to track when I ate, even if I ate a little bit and just a bite, just something that I could tell myself, like, see, like, this is a step forward in the right direction. Now I'm happier than I was yesterday. I'm less sad than I was yesterday. It will always be painful because he took a part of me. He took a part of me that I will never get back. And it's unfortunate that you lose a part of yourself, but you also gain a part of yourself that you've never had before. And the most rewarding thing is that knowing that this part of me he'll never have. And that is just on its own the biggest victory that I could have. But it's a learning process and it gets better. With me, I really felt God carry me through this entire process. I was in such a bad depression.
Don't let it fool you too. They will mention God, but they do not worship God, nor do they fear God. Okay, that's one thing that they will do too. They'll mention God, they'll mention Jesus. Sometimes they'll even be wearing crosses, but there's no fear of there's no fear of God just based on how she dressed. You know what I mean? So that's another thing too. Don't be duped by that either.
Like the pain was larger than life itself for me. If it wasn't for God and if it wasn't for my family, I don't think that I would be where I am in life right now.
As I mentioned, it turns into a whole story of overcoming, where all she did was date a man who left her. Then she starts saying that she's writing a book, brothers. It's almost funny. What would it be called? The 9 Steps to Overcoming Chad, a man who brings nothing to the table but his seed. Based on true events, in this day and age, we see more and more people experiencing the struggles of the main character. She tells her story like she's living something fantastically unreal, but it's nothing more than something that has happened to many men and several women due to their poor choices. But moving on from this, she will then become an empowered woman with high standards for men in her 30s, after hitting the wall. Wait for it, brothers, the new season of transformation and setting standards for simps is coming.
There is no way I will ever be at a Home Depot at 6 a.m. Let's see if there's anything left at 10 a.m. I can smell the wood.
Yeah.
Excuse me, yes. Can you tell me what aisle the single men are in?
Single men?
Single men.
Single men?
I told there was a delivery
I
at
don't know,
6
'cause I
a.m.
need me though, honey. Honey, if I can find a single
They
man.
they were coming at 6 a.m.
Yeah, the thing is about that is, if she actually did something like that, like saying what aisle are the single men in, I don't know if it's a skit or anything like that, but I would say that she's a psychopath, you know what I mean? And just basically looking at her, right? Just basically looking at her actions, looking at her, just her way of conducting herself and things like that, I would really think that she's like a psychopath. That's just my personal observation.
A single man, huh?
Yeah.
Let me see what it looks like. I want a single man. No, I don't. I don't want a single man.
She's showing me where they're at. Let's go get them.
Nail screws, ropes and chains, and tie downs.
That's the aisle. Thank you.
Welcome, brothers. In recent times, women have changed their tactics because it seems that men are no longer approaching them. They are trying to learn how to make the first move since all of them laughed at your request, but most of them are still single. It seems that Home Depot has become the store for women to find men, following a suggestion from a woman in her 40s who claimed you could meet single men there.
Now, keep something in mind. Keep something in mind. I want you to keep something in mind. The reason why they're looking at Home Depot is because they want to put that man to work. Okay, it's not because let's be honest. If you're acting big man, or if you're Olga, right? If you're Olga, like Olga, no go to Home Depot. Kagani. Olga go to like Apple or something like that, or Olga going to Sony, or Olga going to Microsoft, right? Wetton. Not Wetton. So the thing is, she's looking for someone that she can put to work. Okay. She's looking for someone that's going to do something in the household. She's looking at something for someone who's going to take the burden off of her. She's not looking for a relationship. Kagani?
This spread like wildfire, and now there is a significant number of women over 30 shopping at Home Depot. The company's SEO team should have used this as a marketing campaign. The video of women wandering around the store, hoping for a man to approach them, is quite amusing. But what I wonder is, weren't single women supposed to be the happiest? Because if you have to go out hunting for a man, I believe this contradicts the theory promoted by the purple-haired movement. The wall does not forgive, and in this video, you will see several women who do not conform to this idea, like the single mother who comes afterward.
The thing I hate the most about being a baby mama or being the mother of someone's child is the fact that I always have to take the higher road. I always have to be the one to compromise. I always have to be the one to sacrifice for her. For the betterment of her life, I have to be the one to sacrifice. Why is it never the other way around? Why don't you have to sacrifice anything? Why don't you have to give in a little sometimes? Because you fucking don't. You never do, and you probably never will.
Okay. The thing is this. Here's the thing. They said that they make better parents than fathers. Okay. They said that. These were the words that came out of their mouth. They said that mothers are nurturing, mothers are better parents than fathers are. They went also a step further and they said that in a matriarchal in a matriarchy society, things are more peaceful. Okay. They said that. They said things are more productive. They said that things are more in order, in line. These were their words, right? We simply backed off. That's the thing. We backed off. No, I'm not saying like I condone being a deadbeat dad. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that, yeah, go ahead and be a deadbeat dad. No, I'm not saying this. What I am saying though is that they decided and took it upon themselves that they were going to play this role. Okay? I don't know what she's mad about. I don't know what she's upset about.
Stubbornness shit. And I just don't get why dads act like that. I don't get that. It's like I always have to like give in. I always have to let this man have his way, and I hate that. Just because I want her to be at peace, because I want other people to be at peace. I don't. It's like, why can never, like, even when situations are against me, even when I'm hurting, and it's stuff that like damages me and traumatizes me, I still have to give in. And I hate that. I mean, of course, I'm going to do anything for my daughter, anything to make her happy, anything to keep her life at peace. But I just hate that I'm in this situation. And people could say, oh, yeah, you chose to be a baby. I didn't choose to be a baby mama. I didn't choose to be a single mom. I didn't choose that. It was just.
So you didn't choose to be a single mom? Wait a minute. You didn't choose to be a single mom? Huh? You had control of who you were laying down with, right? You had control of contraception, right? You had control of birth control, right? Yeah, I would say you chose.
What happened? And it's what I have to deal with. But I'm still going to complain. I'm still going to say how much I hate it here. Because I do. I never met somebody who makes your life as difficult as a baby daddy. Nobody in my life, nobody, enemies in high school, nobody has ever made my life this difficult. Ever.
Don't get it twisted. When they first met Pookie, you know, when they first met Pookie and Ray Ray, that wasn't the song she was singing when she first met Pookie, or the Ray Ray who decided to knock her up. That wasn't the song she was singing at first. She was singing a completely different tune. Trust me. Trust me, the tune was different.
And I hate it here.
Brothers, women should understand and learn to take responsibility for their decisions because the most important decision for a woman is not her education or her career, but the choice of the father of her children. Women have control over sex and giving life, while men are commitment. What I'm saying is that women should know who they are having children with. Because they say, I didn't choose to become a single mother, but it was them who got pregnant by that man. Women who choose the right partner for their family rarely go through this. Or because women who know how to treat their husbands in marriage don't become single mothers. Because let me tell you, now more than ever, there are more single mothers. Women may argue that it's because men are not providers, but I'll tell you that 60% of men want to be a family man and take care of their wives and children. However, with the current feminist movement, it's challenging to build a lasting relationship.
Okay, and let me also, okay, he says 60%, right? Let me actually even give receipts to that. Let me give receipts to that using our guy Victor Osimhen. Hold on. Let me find it. Let me find that interview. Hold on, let me find it. Let me find it real quick. Let me find it. I want to just bring a receipt. Oh, here we go. Yep. Here we go.
Audacious in area of Lagos State. I left home while I was, I would doubt it because then I went to say that you're going to sign for Napoli. I would say, I don't think that's kind of like impossible dream, but I think everything is possible. I kept on working out. I kept on doing my thing. And of course, yeah, I am. So I said it's a dream come true, and I'm really grateful for life. My dream is to become the African Footballer Player of the Year, and I think
And mind you, he fulfilled that. He fulfilled that. He fulfilled it.
still have a long way to go. I'm really working towards that direction, and I think I am on the right path. And as a man, of course, it won't be easy, but I think having my own family is a dream come true. Will be a dream come true for me.
My receipts. That's the thing. Even with me, like that's one of my goals is to have a family, like in Africa we're expected to have families, right? The thing is I have reiterated my I have reiterated with my parents and my extended family that like under these conditions, under Western conditions, like you can't have a family. Because the thing is look, like how much control am I really going to have over my child, right? Or my children? How much control and how much discipline am I going to be able to impose on them to let them know, for example, that there's only two genders, to let them know that, like, if they're a boy, that it's okay to want to do things like go outside, like learn how to fight, like learn these things. Like, how much control am I going to have over that? You know what I mean? So this is why, yes, of course, that's what most men want to do. Yeah, a man wants to start a family. Of course they do. But again, look at the condition of starting a family.
And I hate that.
Marriage don't become single mothers. Because let me tell you, now more than ever, there are more single mothers. Women may argue that it's because men are not providers, but I'll tell you that 60% of men want to be a family man and take care of their wives and children. However, with the current feminist movement, it's challenging to build a lasting relationship or a team. So that's why I don't feel sorry for this situation. Many of them ruin their relationships, either by mistreating the man, cheating on him, or making his life unbearable with complaints after the child is born. You become a baby mama. No matter how much you want to escape that label, you have to accept it. Every man from now on who wants to date you has to know that he comes with the baggage of another man. Women, I'm just telling you to be cautious. Analyze beyond your emotions the man you get involved with, because later on, you might regret it, like this woman who has to raise Chad's child alone, or actively seek a beta provider to raise Chad's child.
Correction, it's not Chad, it's Pookie and Ray Ray, or Sibo and D-Lo. Correction.
But before we continue, brothers, we want
I have a
no matter how much YouTube recommend our
men that are in their 40s and 50s. I have a question for all the guys out there.
You hear how deep her voice is, bro? Like, honestly, like, who would want like a woman with this deep ass voice? Like, bro, that is not pleasant to come home to. You know, I hate to say it, but it really isn't. It, like, really, like, oh, it's not really pleasant coming home to that. Okay. Um. Um. You know. All I'm gonna say is just make sure you shine your eyes when you're dealing with these women, man. If you decide to still deal with them, you better shine your eyes. Okay. You better make sure you get some sense. Me, I don't recommend you dealing with them. Okay. As a matter of fact, I recommend if you're like me, you go gym on monk mode. That's what I say you do. I just say you go gym monk mode. Okay. That's what I say you do. You know, because when it comes to even this whole thing, gender war and stuff like that, I say I'm just reporting on it. But if it comes to involvement and things like that in it, you know, what and I say I don't die.
I am in my 30s and I am interested in dating older men that are in their 40s and 50s. And I just, throughout my dating experience, I've been wanting to ask this question. Is there anything about dating or considering dating a woman that is younger than you that gives you pause or reservations about it? And I'd really like to know. So if you could leave some information in the comments.
Well, one thing I want to say is that those like 40-year-olds and 50s, they're not even looking at her. You know, that's the thing. Like, they're not even looking at her. The thing is, there isn't any reservations about it. It's just the reservations are about with you per se, because who knows? We don't know her background, but there could be a kid involved or something like that. So we don't know per se, but this is just it.
I'd really appreciate it. I think it would really help me out. I just, I think I can answer some of your questions and maybe give you guys some advice and maybe even some feedback on why maybe your worries and fears are not valid here. So let me know.
Many older women often claim that men only want to date younger women. However, this video clarifies 2 points that I will explain to you. Firstly, women in their 20s rarely take a man in his 45 or older seriously unless he brings a lot to the table. If you are a man of that age dating someone much younger, please don't get married or give them access to your money. Secondly, the worst enemy of a woman in her 40s or older is a desperate 30-year-old woman looking to get married. Women say that men only want younger women, and to some extent, that's true. But when you're 45 or older, you see many women aged 30 to 40 desperate to find a man. These women, believe me, are the ones who make the most advances towards men, especially if they are single mothers. Women are always wary of younger women, particularly your 35-year-old single friend who really wants what you have. Because we all know that a woman's worst enemy is another woman. Another thing we can see here is that a man who takes care of his body, status, and money will always have opportunities. There are many women looking for a man, and men tend to date younger women because they seek stable relationships, which is something an older man can offer.
Hi, this is my.
So I want to talk about that too. I want to speak about that. I want to speak about taking care of your body and stuff like that. Basically the easiest way for you to like maintain a good health and a good physique is, of course, you have to work out. That's very important. You have to train your body. You have to train. You have to, yeah. You have to have that. Okay. You have to do that. That's a part of your programming, is training your body, right? In Islam, that's a part of the thing that we do. That's a part of the thing that is part of us. So, without me showing too much of myself, it's very true that, like, if you're, for example, like a older guy and things like that, like if you're an older man, you can still maintain yourself. You can still be in a top tier shape. It's just that I feel that, like, it has to be imprinted into you, like, to keep on doing that, to make sure that you maintain that vigor and that hunger to make sure you stay in shape. You know what I mean? You should do that. You know. So I want to show you that, like, you know, that's another reason why that's why I kind of like watching sports, is because, like, when you really look at it, um those athletes, they're professional athletes, but you too can have a slice of that pie, you know if you just take some of the training that they do, and if you have a serious hobby. If you have a hobby like surfing, or if you have a hobby like swimming or something like that, as long as you have something like that, you'll be able to be okay. And I think your body will be able to stay in a good way. These women, they don't really develop that for some reason. Unfortunately, when you see women and they're exercising, it's usually for like some bodybuilding crap most of the time, unless they're, of course, they're in some women's sports, of course.
First TikTok. I'm Brooke. I'm walking today to try to beat the blues. Had the blues the last few days. I went through a divorce in 2020 after being with my now ex-husband for 27 years. And 55 years old now, and I moved from California to Idaho by myself, and I don't know that many people here yet, and I'm just feeling kind of blue. I went on my first date, and we had been talking for a month. He was 3 hours away, and like he made my heart pitter patter, but we met, and we're not each other's person. But I'm feeling sadly heartbroken, and I didn't see that coming. So I don't know what to do about this dating thing.
Your first video, so welcome to the wall. If you think that date was bad, I must tell you the next one is even worse. Brothers. Why do women leave marriage to enter the world of dating? The worst part is that they collide with the reality that the grass isn't greener on the other side. Later, we see them with a depressing video because they can't find their match. Look at how she started developing feelings for a man she was just talking to. This is why I tell you they live solely on emotion, thinking it will be better, only to realize that after 35, dating becomes a torment for women because they've hit the wall. As we know, the wall doesn't forgive.
Video replying this one because it's a perfect example about how men literally want to rope us into this nonsense. First of all, I make my videos for women. I have 15% of my audience are men watching these videos. It's for women. But there's always some dude who, like this one, who wants to come along and ask us, well, don't you want companionship? Don't you? We just said we don't want to get married again. Why on earth would we? It's not for the companionship. So I'm video replying to the first comment. There's a whole string because I replied to him and I said, I have companionship with men. I don't need to get married to have that. And then he says, well, how about someone to wake up to every morning? Oh God, again, not realizing for what it means for us women. It means we have a man in our house that the minute he becomes a burden, it's going to be really hard for us to get rid of.
So this is the what happens when you're dealing with Chad. But we'll pick up on this. I'm gonna end the video right now. Thank you for tuning in. I'll go live again, inshallah. I'll go live again on Wednesday. Thank y'all for tuning in. Fula signing out. Njarama.